Hi, this is Patty with another free Friday tidbit coming to you to tell you another behavioral characteristic with a neurobehavioral model in mind. So these are each week we talk about some of the cognitive skills that underpin the behaviors that have been frustrating you. So this week, this month in March, we're dealing with language and communication. And one of the big things that I get all the time from the parents I work with are the crazy stories that their kids tell when they're confronted about something they've done. This is actually something that every one of us does because our brains do not like blanks or voids and will work very hard to fill in the blanks with a reasonable explanation that explains the missing information. How do I know we've all done this? It's just a fact. Do you remember in the days before TiVo when we could pause TV shows, running to the kitchen or running to the restroom for a bio break, convinced, oh yeah, I've got time. I'll make it back to the sofa before the commercial break is over. And guess what? It didn't happen, right? Our brains can't stand the blank spots, and they will create an explanation that seems to make sense. We all do it, and our children are no different. One of the issues that happens with one of the common characteristics that happens when our kids have been exposed to prenatal alcohol or prenatal drugs or trauma or lack of oxygen during delivery, whatever has caused neurodivergence, one of the common issues is memory issues. And confabulation is tied to these memory issues. And because of struggles getting information into memory or being able to access information from memory, the brain is left with voids, with blank spots. So if you confront your child on and remember too, when we confront a child, they will be defensive, right? Which really shuts off access to memory. So if we confront them and say, why do you have that? You know that's off limits. Then they have the thing in their hand and they have to come up with an explanation about how it got there. And the longer they try, the more they try, the crazier their story sounds. Right? Is this familiar? Have you experienced this? I'm sure you have. All right. What comes to me as a helper, as a coach, is I can't stand this lying. I tell them over and over and over again that you'll be in more trouble for lying than just being honest about what you've done, right? Well, they're not lying. They literally cannot remember. And they're coming up with the most reasonable explanation they can. They may be pulling information from something else that happened or from something that they recently read or seen on TV or in a movie or something, but they're just, reaching up and snatching whatever is going to fill that void, right? They're not able to replay what had just happened to get the facts. So they're going to fill in those gaps. Now, how do you know if it's confabulation versus lying? In order for something to be a lie, there has to be an intent to deceive. There has to be the intent to deceive. And that's where we need to pause and ask ourselves, what would they get out of it by wanting to lie? Because all kids will do well if they can. Praise is always preferable to punishment. So they are going to tell the truth as best that they know how, because they know you want the truth, right? But they're defensive. So it's really a complicated thing. And the best technique that you can use to deal with a crazy story or a crazy lie is just accept what they're saying as their best explanation. Get down to their level so that you can see eye to eye. And with a soft tone of voice, ask them, if it's something that that you suspect they stole from, a peer in school or took from somewhere else in the house that's off limits, ask them, wow, I wonder where this lives. I wonder who it belongs to and where we can go to put it back or to give it back, return it. And chances are, with that approach, with a nice soft approach rather than an accusation, you'll get the answer you need, and your child will participate with you in making it right. All right, so that's my free Friday tidbit on confabulation, language and communication for March. And I hope that this helps you see some of your children's behaviors in a new light. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.